now. So welcome everyone from Spark The Convo Podcast, joining Sports and Hip Hop with DJ Mad Max Radio. We're not at WSU Radio, but I'm representing them right now, St. John's University, Queens, New York. So how about we have everyone introduce themselves?
What's going on, man? It's your boy, Loco Wolfbucks. You dig? We in the building with it. Shout out my man, Mad Max. Spark Boy to the building.
Yo, AD here, Donald, for y'all that don't know. Feel me, you can just call me AD. Shout out Mad Max, my man. Shout out to Spark Boys, my gang.
You already know who it is, your boy Monty. We in the spot today. We here with Mad Max. Coming and talking right. You know, all my boys, Spark Boys, ready to represent. Let's go.
G Jetson here. We here with Mad Max. Walk Boys in the building. You dig?
It's your girl Sierra Rose. Hello. We in the building with Mr. Mad Max. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, no problem. I think it's important, especially as a white male, to use this platform to give others the platform to speak about what's right and just call things how it is in society, especially with the murder of George Floyd and all of these social injustices in this world. I know if you've been watching the news, I'm sure all of you have been. The 3 officers have been charged and have been brought in, I believe, which is a step forward here. But what we all really want is justice to be served. And what matters in the end is that they're convicted of their crime.
For sure.
Yeah. For sure. And then I think they also, it went from 3rd degree to 2nd degree on the main guy that was stepping on George Floyd's neck. Forgot his name though. But yeah, they moved it up to 2nd degree, so that's also good to hear too.
Do you
It's
believe,
definitely a step forward.
I'm going to start off with this question. Do you believe that the video, which is just unbelievable and just disgusting in so many ways, do you believe that this video has finally waken up America and even white people in America are speaking out? Or do you think there's still a lot of people out there that are sleeping? Because if you look at the protests and the rallies and all that stuff, you still have white supremacist groups mixed in there who are causing trouble for the peaceful protesters.
I think for sure that people still definitely need to wake up. I think a lot of people are very blind to a lot of the situations, not even just like being ignorant. They just choose not to pay attention. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that a lot of people, even though this is all going on and all like the protests and the peaceful protests, people are still trying to revolt against the peaceful protests. They're still trying to fight back against it just because of the negative light of the protests. They just think that, like everybody's just out wanting to like destroy things, and they're just not seeing the real root reason of it. So I believe that not everybody's really understanding what's really going on.
Yeah, I for sure think that there's definitely still people out there that don't really understand what's going on, because there's still some people that are like, I don't understand why everybody's so mad or this or that, whatever. So like there's like, of course there's always going to be people that are kind of like opposed to it, and there's always going to be people that are like misinformed and like not really fully understanding what's going on. But you know, it's really our job to try to inform them, us that do know about what's going on. And I think the video, it definitely showed some people that might have been like misinformed. Like it shows them like what our people have to go through. But you know, we still have work to do for sure, just off the sole fact that like we're still like in protest and like justice hasn't been served yet. Like we still have work to do. So, you know.
Yeah, I completely agree with them.
Loco, do you want to chime in?
Is he here?
Loco, are you still here?
I'm not here.
I guess not. I don't know where he went, but yeah, I definitely think this is a step forward. We've seen a lot of cop killings of innocent Black people before, but this one was just unbelievable. Like I said, the fact that this guy was crying that he couldn't breathe on the ground, his nose was bleeding, and they just didn't do anything. The officer didn't let up, and this is why he is where he is now. And I think everyone's surprised that it's not like full justice hasn't been served yet, but the fact that action has been taken to bring all these officers into custody is a big step forward, because usually they wouldn't even be brought into jail. They wouldn't even be arrested.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think local.
I think a big part of it is this, right? We've been going through this joint for so long, and people are expecting change. People want change, this, that, and the other, right? And, you know, all of this stuff, it does start at home. I think this video is definitely one of the many wake-up calls, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, in life, you know, it's going to sound funny because I say it, but you wake up every single day, you know what I mean? You go to sleep every single day. There's times in this country where we forget all that's happened and stuff like that, or we just swipe, sweep it under the rug. So stuff like this happens, it's like, oh, dang, this is really still a problem. This is really still apparent in our lives. We got to step up again and do what we got to do. So this is just one of the many times where it's like, okay, it's time for our voice to be heard once again, and it's time for us to step up to the plate and do what we have to do.
What's all of your reaction to when people go on the news or people take to Twitter and they come out against the looters, especially if they're black looters out there? Because I feel as though if they're looting, so what? Because I know everyone's tired of it. So if they're looting, they're taking out their anger on it. I'm sick of seeing people come out against the looters. I get that, whereas people want peaceful protests and they should be doing both. But why are we getting so angry at the looters? That's my main question.
I feel like that's just simply because of the fact that people are just trying to find like an issue. You know what I'm saying? Like they see people stealing or like burning down targets or whatever, so have you, and they're just like, oh, you see, they're not trying to be peaceful. They're not trying to get to the real root of the problem. They're just trying to be destructive. They're just looking for a reason to just like show the negative side and not really, like I was saying earlier, go back to the positive side and actually reinforce everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like these people are just really trying to find something to talk about.
I agree with that also, but it's like some of the looters that the people call them. It's like some of them are just doing it just because they can do it now. They're taking advantage of the protest going on, and now they're just trying to loot stuff. They're not even trying to like actually like, you know, protest and be a part of the cause. They're just doing it because they want to. And like that,
exactly.
That's the only problem I have with it. And like besides that, it's like I understand why they're doing it. Like Max said, it's all out of anger, and they're tired of being treated bad and all that.
Right.
I agree 1,000%.
There's definitely people that, you know, try to kind of make it something out of nothing, not something out of nothing, but like, you know, try to find the issue within what's going on. And those are definitely people that might not like understand fully. And then there's also some people that, you know, they kind of value like their possessions and things like that. Like they value the stores and all that's being destroyed more than like the cause that's being fought for right now. And personally, like my opinion just on the looting in general, like I do understand, you know, some of these big corporations, some of these big like chain stores, like a lot of them have insurance to like fix those things. So at the end of the day, like yes, it's costing them more money, but these are some of the same organizations that like, for example, like they'll support Trump and like they'll donate to like his fund for like his next presidential campaign and all. So, you know, like some people are targeting those stores, and like I personally I understand that. You know, like they could get their stuff back. But what I don't understand is like the smaller like mom and pop shops, like little stores that people built from the ground up that people are destroying, or people destroying their own neighborhoods. Like those are some things that like would really take a lot of time to rebuild. And like Kimani he mentioned before, there's some people that are kind of doing it just because. And I feel like those people that are, you know, hitting those mom and pop shops, destroying those low income neighborhoods, I feel like those are the people that are, you know, just doing it for their own gain, not doing it for the cause.
Yeah, I agree with Adonis. Like that's really like a big thing. Like there's a lot of like he said, mom and dad businesses, or even black owned businesses that are being looted, and it shouldn't be looted because once again, they're with us, or they're you know with the cause. It shouldn't be oh I'm a looter just because I want to loot it, or they have something I want, so I'm gonna go take it. It shouldn't be like that. It should be the people that are supporting Trump or the people that are not with us. They should be looted and be taken care of.
I agree. I totally agree with that. I mean, another thing that I wanted to bring up today was, you have Bunker Boy in the White House coming out Monday afternoon. He gives a press conference. As we all know, we know some people who were protesting in Washington, D.C. They were tear gassed so that he could go hold up a Bible in front of St. John's Church. It was just a dictator act. But what's your reaction to him saying that he's going to deploy our troops on its citizens, basically, which is an act of war? What's your reaction to that?
I feel like that's something that's really gonna, take what's going on right now and how intense it is, like the tension that's in the air between like just police officers and people, and that's gonna elevate everything, and it's really gonna make things like a lot worse than they need to be, because there may be some of those people like in that military that Trump is like asking to go out there, and some of those people might be like, trigger happy, or they might take things the wrong way, and like there goes another like group of people that are against the protesters, and like I mentioned, it's gonna cause things to like get way more intense. And you know something I believe you did just mention, this is kind of like a dictator, like like it's like the act of a dictator in a way. And that's not something that's not something that we follow in America. And so I really just think it's gonna like take things past where they need to be.
Yeah, I just feel like I feel like him doing that, you're making like calling National Guards, calling the Army, all that stuff, and instead of just really seeing what the problem is. Like, you're supposed to be the president of the United States, and this is your first like instinct, like this is how you deal with situations, and instead of just hearing your people, like, you know what I'm saying? And even if all the protesters did vote for Trump, because there might just be good people who still believe in civil rights and who did just vote for him just based off his policies and stuff like that. Like, you still have people who are fighting for something, and it's just like, this is how you react. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like he's just a very inhumane person.
Yeah, like that whole thing calling the National Guard, that whole thing like calling the National Guard and all that is just like very disappointing, because those people are put in place to protect us, and now he's putting them against us to actually hurt us and like just harm us. It's just sad.
He's basically just weaponizing that against us, against the citizens of America, and it's like it literally just speaks to who he is as a person. And I think I think we all know who this guy was when he was running for president. So all this is not unexpected. This is all expected, and it sucks that it is happening. But yeah, this is just who he is, and I think it's more of a wake-up call to the people that voted for him, and like, because we know this, like, we knew this is who was put in the house.
Yeah. What's it going to take for him to be removed from office? As we know, he interfered with the election back in 2016. We all know that. But what's it really going to take? He's calling out the National Guard, the military, against its people. He's going on Twitter calling the protesters thugs. I mean, there's just countless of things that we can just say against him that he's done. We've never seen any other president do something like this. So what's it going to take to get him out of office?
The only way Trump is leaving office anytime soon is if God comes, strikes with lightning, and puts Biden in office. And let me tell you now, right, real quick. The reason Trump is in office, he's here to do exactly what he's currently doing, right? You feel me? He's here to cause havoc. He's here to cause rage. You know what I'm saying? They put him in knowing he's capable of what he was, right? So it's not a surprise that he's doing all of this stuff. People who put him in there, who have the power to do this stuff, they're cheering, they're rejoicing, right? It's the minorities now that we the ones that are against it, of course, that we always been. So it's just a matter of going out, voting, and making sure he don't hold that place no more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, honestly, at this point, it's just everybody going out and voting and making sure we just don't have him in office. Like, that's just really what it's come down to. Like, they've tried impeaching, that didn't work. Like, we wouldn't want to, I'm not gonna like wish death upon somebody, but that's never gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, at this point, everybody just has to get educated about who's running for president, who's running for senators, who's running for any type of office, and just be more educated about your community, about who we want in office for our futures, our nieces and nephews' futures, our future kids and stuff like that. We are the ones who have to change the world and go out and vote.
Yeah.
You mentioned education. I think education plays a big part in our society, and I feel as though our professors and teachers aren't well educated themselves to teach the students about issues going on in society. Like in high school, I don't remember being taught about, social injustices. I mean, you learn about the civil rights era movement with Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and all that, but it's kind of almost like it, from their standpoint, it just doesn't exist today. They don't talk about it. At least where I went to school, I went to a Catholic school in Connecticut, and it was majority white people at the school. I just don't understand it because we still have it today. It's been going on for years now. Eric Gardner, Alton Sterling, we can go on and on, Trayvon Martin. I just don't understand why the teachers and professors today are still not tackling this issue. And I think that's a big factor in all this right now, why people are so uneducated about the situation, especially white males.
No, I agree with you completely.
I think what it is too, right? Like, I mean, it's just how I see it. You know what I'm saying? High school, that's more personal, but whether it be for the students, for the staff, the faculty, all that, it's more personal. It's more like a livelihood, you know what I'm saying? College, in a sense, is just a business, you know what I mean? You there, you collect your check, you in and out of there, really. It's no real personal relationship between you and professors or whatnot. That kind of stuff comes from the community, like the NAACP groups on your campus and the Black Solidarity Unions and all of them people. That's where that stuff comes from. You know what I'm saying? High school is like those people are kind of raising you up for 4 years. In college, you know what I'm saying, it's you and your people. That's it. You know what I'm saying? How often do you even go to a professor for anything besides extra points on your grade, anything like that? You don't go to your professor for no personal things or to tell them how you really feel, stuff like that. So I think that plays a part of it too. I think as long as the college that you go to got like them support groups on campus, them unions and stuff like that, so where you can link up with your people, whether it be, just the groups that you want to be in or whatever, that's how you grow and learn more about it in like the educational standpoint.
Yeah.
So I feel as if, as for like high school, I feel like you also have to understand like there's education protocols put into place. Like in the beginning of the year, they tell the teachers, okay, this is what you're going to teach about. I went to a minority school. I live in Massapequa. I went to Amityville. My school is basically a minority school, but all of our teachers are white. I think I can count on my hand how many Black teachers, Black professors, or just faculty I've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? We only had one social worker, Mr. Hawkins, and he was actually the one to actually teach us, or especially me, about American history. So of course you go to your social studies, you go to your global studies, whatever, but what they're teaching you is what they're supposed to teach. They're supposed to teach you what they want you to know. And I feel as if once I started getting in touch with Mr. Hawkins and stuff like that, he was actually teaching me about real American history. He was explaining to me about what went down hundreds of years ago, you know what I'm saying? And he even set up this whole HBCU tour for all the students. So like you had to apply, and we went to a whole bunch of different museums, and like we spoke with a whole bunch of different community leaders, and because I had those experiences was the reason why I understood more about African American history. And that wasn't because I learned it in school. It was because I learned it through real experiences.
And those are good points that you just made. We were talking about college campuses, and we're on the topic of schools right now. There's also an issue, especially on St. John's campus. I've witnessed it firsthand. You've heard the stories around campus with its security programs and public safety. There's been issues where they have stopped and frisked its students, it's Black students. Let's start there. It's Black students. I had an issue, the situation this year, and Loco can back me up on this, where they were, hold on a minute, we only have 9 minutes left. So a public safety officer was carding our Black members at the radio station, outside of our radio station, WSJU Radio. I went up to that officer and I basically questioned them, like, what are you doing? That's a member of our station. I said, you better not be doing this because he's Black and he has a hoodie on. and he was just trying to justify what he did. And he was like, "There's no profiling here." His excuse was, "Oh, well, he just looked lost." That's not an excuse. I know what he was doing. And then I eventually got called in because he took down my ID. He wanted my ID. I had to give him my ID. It was a whole situation going on. I got called into public safety, and basically they just questioned me what went on. And then they told me that a public safety officer has the right to ask you for your storm card and ID if they ask you, which is just blasphemous to me. It's just unbelievable. I don't see no reason for it. If you're at that school, it's obvious that you're supposed to be there. You know,
Right.
I just think there needs to be a change on college campuses with police and security as well.
Right, but you see, those are the type of things that we have to go through. You know, we may be like looking for something, or you know, we might need a little bit of help, but you know, instead of like coming over and just asking like if we do need help or whatever, like we're, you know, kind of profiled, and like, you know, instead of taking things a certain way, they take it the other way, and next thing you know, we're getting like wearing handcuffs, or like you mentioned, like your school ID is being taken and being like reported, written down. But you know, like even if the man like didn't seem lost or whatever the case may be, like he still got targeted. And like I said, those are the type of things that we go through every day with, you know, like people in that position of power on the streets.
Any other thoughts how we go about changing the issues on college campuses with public safety and officers?
I mean, I don't know too much about public safety. You know what I'm saying, I ain't had too many run-ins with them people. But I mean, it's just a matter of, you know, the same thing you would do in the streets, the same thing on the campus. You know what I'm saying? The same thing we're doing outside there, the same thing we're doing over there. So I mean, you know, it's just a matter of policing, how they going about it, who's training them up, who's giving them the keys to do what it is. You know, just hoping that they move accordingly from here on out.
Right. That's definitely the main thing. You know, I'm not a police officer or a public safety officer, so like I can't tell you what they're teaching them. But you know, when they're going through training and all, it really starts with like teaching them the right thing, and then on top of that, holding them accountable for when they don't follow the right protocol and it's reported and they do wrong things. You know, so like when somebody calls in and reports an officer, like instead of just, you know, putting them on paid leave or something, taking like real steps of action just to ensure that, you know, your officers aren't, you know, breaking protocol and causing issues where there may not be an issue in the first place.
Today, there was a trending topic on Twitter, which G brought up at the beginning before we even started this, G Sleazy, which is Drew Brees came out and basically said that, you know, he's not going to stand for anyone disrespecting the flag, which is basically Colin Kaepernick kneeling along with other football players, kneeling in as a peaceful means of protest. It's not disrespecting the flag. It's not disrespecting the soldiers who fought for the country. It's just a peaceful means of kneeling in order to raise awareness about the social injustice in this country and police brutality. So can we cancel Drew Brees now? On that,
I mean, you the football guy.
Yeah, you're the football guy, so.
I think I want everyone else's opinion though. I think he should be canceled. I think he should be thrown out of the league, just like how they threw Kaepernick out for what he said. I mean, now's not the appropriate time to say that. I just don't find it appropriate. He should be cut. He's 38, 39 anyway. He's close to 40. His time is up. I don't see no issue with it.
It's too bad. Max is crazy, yo. I mean,
you know, you got to be thrown out.
I think you got to see the follow up. You know what I mean? I'm sure he's not gonna stop here. LeBron spoke out, which means everybody else about to speak out.
Yeah, everybody about to speak out. So you know he about to go back and rethink what he said.
Exactly, he gonna retract it.
You know, we can't have people like that be able to just retract everything and then like, oh, let me cover it up now. What happened with Virgil? that's the same thing what happened with Virgil. Like Virgil over here speaking for like the whole street wet thing, and then now we letting him just this that there. It was a 50-50 like match 50 type of thing. That whole donation thing. But I don't know, like Drew Brees ain't getting thrown out the league.
He ain't getting thrown out nothing.
He protected by his skin and the people and the higher ups.
Yeah.
Right. That's very true. But I think it's time we educate that man. I think that's the next step, because like y'all said, they're probably not just gonna throw him out the league over that. He's protected. He's Drew Brees, so definitely take the steps to like educate him. And I feel like it's a good thing that LeBron commented on that and didn't just let that fly by. One of his peers in terms of like a sports figure, like a superstar in the sports world. So it's good that LeBron held him accountable for what he said, and it's not just us as fans, it's some of his peers. So I think that's definitely a step in the right direction. Next, we just gotta get that man some education on the topic at hand.
I think so. I think it's, who knows, like I said, is he 39, 40 years old right now? It's going to be kind of hard to educate a 40-year-old man, but I mean, it's possible. At the same time, he does have to take in consideration that he does have black people as his peers and on his team. So is he going to stand in the locker room and preach to everyone how they shouldn't be kneeling for the flag?
Yeah. It really is kind of like go ahead.
Nah.
Oh, I was just saying, like, it's really kind of like tone deaf. Like, it's by the comment like that he made. It's tone deaf, and it's like insensitive, and especially with him being with black athletes, playing with black athletes, like it's kind of like not even taking into consideration of how they're feeling and what their people are going through.
Yeah, also too, by the time it becomes time to stand in the locker room over that, this is gonna be long gone out of their minds. You know what I'm saying? Drew Brees was one of the golden boys of football. You know what I mean? We know what the golden boys are: Tom, Rodgers, Brees. We know what the golden boys are. You know what I mean? The NFL is going to protect Brees in the way that all of this stuff, no matter who speaks out on it, it's about to be swept under the rug in a matter of maybe 24, 48 hours. We're going to go right back to loving the Saints. We're going to go right back to loving everything Brees has done. That is what it's going to be. It's going to be, of course, a few people that's going to stick with him. What's a few to when everybody else is cool with you and just moving along on? You know what I mean?
He's gonna donate to some type of black organization, and that's it.
And he's
gonna donate the bag too. You know that.
Yeah, he's gonna donate a good amount just so people can be blind to what he really said. That's what it is. That's how they get us.
What we were talking about, we just finished our discussion about Drew Brees. Does the NFL allow Colin Kaepernick to come back now? Because now it makes plenty sense to have him back, because now maybe people understand what he was fighting for. Obviously, Drew Brees doesn't get it, but maybe other people understand now. Does he come back?
I feel like that's a hard question to answer, because we're not the NFL, but he definitely should be able to come back. But you know how it is. He's probably not gonna be able to come back because nobody wants him. Nobody wants him. Wants that. I don't know what to call it. Like that. What is the word? Somebody help me. I don't know what to say like that.
I don't think that the NFL teams want that attention. They don't want that media attention.
Like that reputation.
Because they really care about the perception of like the teams and everything. They don't really they're not going to stand with Cap on anything. We've seen before, like it was so quick to just let him go and blackball him. And I don't know like the right answer to it, like, because I don't think we have like a power in saying that. Like the people can protest and all like that, but I don't think it's really going to change their opinion.
I think Cap getting back in the league, to be honest, is just on him. Because, I mean, we've seen that the NFL gave him, that shot, whatever. Granted, it had all of those stipulations, whatever like that. But they've extended that joint out to him. So he could get in. Like, I mean, if you follow that whole thing, I mean, I think it's clear at this point that, like, yeah, the team wasn't feeling him at first, but it's like, all right, you know what? If you're going to play, you're going to play. We'll probably put you like second string, third string, and we'll figure it out from there. Like if he want to get in the league today, he could do it. So I mean, it's a matter of does he feel as if he's been respected, he's been treated correctly? Do they understand the cause now? That's all on him.
And I think teams are not even going to sign him to a long contract. I think the teams are just going to sign him to like 1 year just to see how the year goes, as into like the attention that is brought to them with signing him, and just see how business is affected, because that's all they care about.
Nah, for real. Because it's like if you sign him for that year, y'all get slapped with hella controversy, and he don't play well. It's like, oh, okay, well, thank you for the test run. Now no one's gonna sign you. You know we gotta do that.
And then you got sponsorships dropping just off because of you signing a player like him that stands up for something that goes against people. Because like the NFL is a predominantly white sport. Like there's a white fans that watch that sport. So
the demographic,
yeah.
I'll tell you what, the Saints will probably have an opening. Everyone's coming out against Drew Brees, so they might have an opening at quarterback. This may force him to retire if there's a lot of uproar raised here about it. I think Kaepernick could slide in there for the starting job.
If you lose Drew Brees, you gotta go big and go home. I don't think they're picking up Cap.
Or Jameis Winston. That's what I've been hearing.
What's going on with what's his name in Carolina? Cam Newton.
We haven't heard any talks about him. He might be staying there or not, but I don't want to get it too into football because I know not everyone's that into football here on the show right now. We'll save that for another podcast. But you see all the Blackout Tuesday posts. There's been some rumors online saying that this was started by a white supremacist to drown out the black people speaking out. Do you agree with those statements?
Nah. I wouldn't say that I agree with that. I mean, I've definitely seen a bunch of different stories on like who it's like who it was started by and all, but I do have to say, like, if it was started by a white supremacist, then that's kind of crazy how like they put all that thought into it to know that like everybody would be posting the black screen and that it would drown out everything that's in the hashtag, but that kind of just goes to show like the measures that would be taken against the measures that would be taken against the cause just to like silence us instead of working with us and like really figuring out the issue, solving the problem, just so that we don't have to like keep going through these things over and over. But I also want to say like I enjoyed the Blackout Tuesday, like it kind of gave people that might not have had a way to that like might not have had a way to support, like it gave them a way to like kind of show their solidarity, and, the fact that everybody joined in together, and we like everybody was able to like add their contribution in one way or another. That's to me, that's what it's all about. No matter what way we're going to like, no matter what means we're taking to the end goal, like as long as we're all together, like working towards the end goal in one way or another.
And I think to speak on what AD was talking about, I think like there's so many different ways of protesting. Like you don't have to literally go out and protest if that's not your thing, but you can donate, you can post, you can bring awareness to the subject at hand.
Yeah, it's important to raise awareness.
Agree.
I definitely agree with G and AD. Like there's a lot of people saying like, oh, you're not supposed to protest this way and protest that way. I personally think there's not a certain way to protest, but there's no right way to protest because everybody shows their way of anger differently. So clearly, like if people want to just post a back screen and then like donate money or share on their social medias, like that'd be great for it. Like that'd be great for everybody because I mean honestly, like that's the way they're gonna protest and that's the way they're gonna have to do it because they don't feel comfortable walking out or they don't feel like walking out. just doing that, I mean, I still understand it and I still support that.
I think it's important to take part in signing petitions too, because I know Loco sent me a petition and we signed that last night. Just doing more for change, because you can sit there and on social media say, you know, I don't support this, but how about we march, we put forth petitions to actually make a change. That's what counts at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
That's what really counts in my eyes. But getting on to something else now, which relates to this, like you see white people posting on all over social media saying now they want change, they're sick of it. But what happens when November comes around and they vote for Trump? That's not change. So how are we going to make a change if people are going to still go out and vote for Trump? Or do you think people's opinions on that man has changed because of the actions he has taken in the past week? Has come to fruition of a person who he really is, tear gassing protesters and priests.
I just feel like that definitely, it's really up to the minority groups of America. We just have to all be registered and all just outvote these people, because at the end of the day, like you can educate somebody so much on one topic, but like if you can't always change everybody's mind. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you could change that one person's mind, that's great. You know what I'm saying? That's one more person that's on our side. But it really just comes up to just your friends. If your friends didn't register to vote, show them how to register to vote. You know what I'm saying? Like my brother was a big influence to me on that. Like he educated me a lot on like the whole like political parties and like what's going on and how I was able to register to vote. And that was one thing that I thought was really dope, that like people who's younger than me are like explaining it to us. You know what I'm saying? But I also just feel like, as for like Trump maybe being reelected, that it's just really all on us. Like it's just, if we can outnumber them and make it happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyone else?
When it comes to change, you know what I'm saying? You just got this. When I say it like this, when it comes to that man and how they vote and all of that, we can't trust you. When it comes to them people, we can't force them, we can't sway them. Because them people are so far to the other side, it's not even funny. So it's like, what are you gonna do to change? You gonna tell them, hey, you know, don't do this, da da da. The ones that we see out here fighting for and with us aren't the ones who vote for him come November. They didn't vote for him back in 2016 either. The ones who did all that, we don't see them. And yeah, it might look like the streets is flooded and all of that, but that's a big group of people, you know what I'm saying, that we don't see, and that's really, really controlling what goes on here, there, and everywhere, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's like he said earlier, you know, it don't start with the presidency. It start in your community. It start with the comptrollers, the senators, the mayors, the people that sit on the bench in your community, all of these people. And then that's how we work our way up. You know what I'm saying? If we're not dominating every other category possible, by the time we get there, it's not gonna mean nothing.
Exactly.
I really like to sit down some of these Trump voters and ask them, what has he done that's a positive thing for this country? What has he done? Because I can't think of anything he's done. We look back on all the other 44 presidents, we could probably pull out something positive they've done. I know Barack Obama 100%, of course, but presidents in the past before him, there's just nothing positive that we can say about this guy.
You know, I just think it's honestly just like a money thing, and it's just like a lot of ignorance. You know what I'm saying? Like when people aren't educated and they're out just saying willy-nilly and they think they know what they're talking about, it's just pure ignorance. I think that Trump has showed his ass plenty of times how ignorant he is, and that those are just the people, those Trump supporters, the white supremacy people, the undercover KKK people. Like they're just all ignorant. That's just how they were raised. That's how, like, you know what I'm saying? That's just how they were brought up. It's just pure ignorance at this point.
I mean, for him to stand in front of St. John's Church with a Bible is just despicable.
It's a publicity stuff.
Was it the Bible upside down too?
Yeah, it was upside down, and the way he was holding it was just.
Yeah, and they said that that he even tear gassed the members of the church too. Wow.
Yeah, he tear gassed the
In that
priest.
process. Yeah,
Wow, that's crazy.
it's crazy. It's disgusting.
And then he's gonna be like, "God bless America." Then like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is ignorance. It's ignorance.
It's in front of our face, and we can't ignore it. All we can do is educate the people that are ignorant to it, and that's pretty much what we can do.
He's not a religious man either. That's all a con game. He's never read the Bible in his life. Come on. I mean,
that's why he was holding it upside down.
It's just a con game. I know he goes out there and he just preaches hatred, and then he thinks he's a man of God. It's just unbelievable. If he was a man of God, he wouldn't be doing this, tearing the country apart. He's responsible for the coronavirus pandemic. He did nothing to stop that from coming to the United States. He did nothing at all. So at the end of the day, we're fighting two battles that he's basically enhanced and poured gasoline on.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this dude is like he's treating it's almost like he's treating the presidency like it's a show on E or something. Because like this guy, the thing that this guy is doing, like, it's not really like presidential. It's more like what he started as, like a reality star, you know, like treating this like it's TV, and he's not like the leader of an entire nation.
That's another thing that we're going to take into consideration. I think we should all take that in consideration. This guy is a television host, a businessman. This isn't a politician. You know, I'm more comfortable with someone who is an actual politician running this country. And, you know, let's get things turned around. And then when I see posts on Instagram and Twitter saying that, well, Biden isn't the answer. Well, I'm sorry to all the people out there that are saying, you know, Biden isn't the answer. But when we go to the polls to vote, we have to choose the lesser of two evils. So if you think Trump is the answer, you're wrong.
I agree 1,000%. At this point, it's like they weren't educating themselves when there was other candidates who was more eligible. You know what I'm saying? Or there was other candidates who were probably better than Biden, you know what I'm saying? But at this point, it's just like, you just got to do what you got to do. You got to take what you're given.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? And then these are the same people that'll complain if Trump wins. They won't. They don't.
Exactly. These are the same people who are not going to go and vote just because they don't like the two people who's up for the highest majority. But at the end of the day, like, you have to take what you're being fed. You have to pick either or. So it's like we can't fall into this trap of not voting because we don't like the two candidates that are at the top at the end of the day. We just have to do what we got to do at the end. That's really what it is.
Any other thoughts from any of the other members from Spark the Convo on that statement?
Oh, what it is with Trump is this, right? And this is why, you know what I mean? We were just in a bad time to have somebody like this running it. Because, like, you ask, what has he done for the country? And it's like, you know, Matt, you and me talk all the time about stuff like this. Like, it's not a matter of what he's done for the country as a whole. As long as he's catering to his, you know what I'm saying, to his people, he's all the way good. He don't got to worry.
Right now, he doesn't care about them. He doesn't care
about
but those people are ignorant to the point where they believe that's their friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's their leader. So they don't see the backhandedness in the situation. So, like, they're like, oh my God, like, Trump, like, he's the best. They're wearing the MAGA hats, all that stuff. But they don't see the backhandedness. At the end of the day, this is a joke to him. You know what I'm saying? It's all about money. The more supporters he has, the more clout, the more, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, us giving to his, like, crazy tweets. Like, this is a game to him. Like, this is what he wants. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's who that's his crowd. That's his audience. You know what I'm saying? Those are the ones who are like, those are the ones out there talking. I don't even want to say the all lives matter thing, but the ones that are like, oh, black people need to relax with the Black Lives Matter thing, because if it wasn't for us, that wouldn't even be free. Like, think that's those kind of people. You know what I'm saying? As long as he caters to them, they're gonna keep putting up every single dollar they got to. You know what I'm saying? Keep him in office to give him all the necessary resources he needs. You know what I'm saying? To make it do what it do. Because those people, in a sense, you know, of course, we don't feel like they have a bigger voice than us or a lot of voice in us. But, you know, in terms of financially, they do. You know what I'm saying? In this country, money talk. You know what I'm saying? Money talk in this country is sad to say, but that's why it's going to be so hard to move somebody of his stature. And not even off out that office, but just off the pedestal as a whole. You know what I mean? Until he do something that really show that he is like the Antichrist damn near, dude just gonna eat it up.
No, I think he is. He's holding the Bible upside down. I think he is. I think he is the Antichrist. I really do. But that pisses me off is when I'm talking to people or you just see it all over social media. Well, we're speaking out against cops right now, and they're like, well, not all cops are bad. That's not appropriate in this time to say that, in my opinion. That I get that, but then you're just kind of like retracting what you said. You know what I mean? If you're holding up signs saying "F the police," and then they're saying, well, not all cops are bad. You have people out there saying that. Not in this time. We have to go fully against them because there's so much corruption within the police forces out there.
Yeah, it's like you can't sit there and look at a group and be like, oh, well, this person's not bad and this person's not bad. If it's a majority of you, we're going to look at you as a majority. You know what I'm saying? So there could be 1,000 great cops, but the other 1,000 or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It looks bad upon all of you guys. So now it's just like I'm going to be in the street, and you could be a great cop who became a cop because you wanted to fight against this injustice and stuff like that. But I'm still going to look at you as an enemy. I'm still going to look at you and still be afraid. And that's just what it is now. Like, people are really looking at these people like, and just being scared. And I feel like you shouldn't have to be scared to like walk outside your house.
Right.
Like, that's where it becomes crazy.
There's definitely time and place for everything, and right now it's the time and place for us to, you know, defeat like the whole system. Like we know in our hearts, like when we say Black Lives Matter, or you feel me, when we say like at the police, like we know that there's good people in the police force. We know that other lives do matter, but at the same time, like we have to focus on what's like at hand right now. We have to make sure that everybody else knows that Black Lives Matter, and then all lives can matter after that. But you know, we have to focus on the main issue for right now. And I think that's where like some things kind of get misconstrued. Like when we say Black Lives Matter at the police, we're not saying that, you know, those other lives don't matter or that.
Or you're lesser than.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's just saying that they do matter, that Black lives do matter because they're being innocently killed and they're unarmed. But then you have all these school shooters who are barely taken down or tackled. You'll see unarmed Black people tackled, shot for no reason, and for sometimes reasons that just go way too far than it should be. But a school shooter can just be, you know, put in handcuffs and gently put into a cop car, and that's just unbelievable to me. It's really unreal how these police forces work. And I have a question directed at Loco Warbucks, who is the rapper of this podcast right now.
What's going on?
And I'm putting you on the spot, Loco. I've stressed this in many interviews, not only just ours, but everyone I've talked to in the industry, because I believe in it. And I promoted this show tonight here, the special discussion that we're having with Public Enemy, Fight the Power. When are we going to have rappers out there right now? I know one of them's Killer Mike, but there should be plenty other ones out there, similar to Public Enemy and NWA, who are speaking out against the government and injustices out there in the world. When are we going to get more rappers of that? And Loco, are you thinking about making a song about that?
Well, firstly, like, I mean, I say it's all the time, you know what I mean? It just matters where you're looking, you know what I mean? This rapper's all that. I'm gonna, you know, please you all on the internet before I please the people. He went straight outside, you know what I'm saying? Wale, my favorite rapper, he didn't do the internet thing. He went outside. He didn't even post no like videos or pictures of him there. He just like showed y'all what was going on. He was there, you know what I'm saying? The same thing the rappers is doing is the same thing the NBA players is doing. It's the same thing that the other people doing. They outside and making it happen. You know what I mean?
That's important.
Not every.
We've seen him protest. It's important to protest, but at the same time, music resonates with people. we're still listening to Fight the Power from when that came out, in the early 90s, late 80s? We're still listening to that right now. Why can't we have music like that made today? Is it because that it may hurt the artist's brand? Because you look at it, and I watched CNN, Don Lemon called people out. He was appalled how the number of rappers and celebrities that would not call into his show because it would affect or hurt their brand.
I mean, when it comes to making a song, that's just what's on your heart and how you feel. You know what I mean? When Public Enemy and them was doing it, it was rampant. It was like every day, like we deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it looks like it's every day. It's like it's a new thing every day, every week, whatever the case may be. And it's like we just trying to. It's almost like you try to unwind and almost leave it alone because you're so numb to it now. That shouldn't be the case. But I mean, you just got to find a person. If I look at it like this, rappers, like in and out of season talk about pro-black stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Joey do it. I can name a bunch of rappers. Like Polo G. Polo G did it 3 weeks ago, and none of this stuff was even going on. You know what I mean? We was in the midst of coronavirus. People do it at different times. You just got to put it together and just, you see, oh, wow, people are really talking this, you know what I'm saying, pro-black, stuff like that. Granted, it's not just all at one time. Like political bars, because then it's like, I think music is more important than the cause, you know what I mean? So it's a matter of just catching it at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like we just saw what Apple did yesterday with the playlist. A lot of them songs that they was playing came out within the last 4 or 5 years. And they just put all of that stuff together and was like, oh wow, we have been speaking out about this. We have been, here's where they do it. And they just said, who in the midst of all of this, who really wants to get in the studio right now and start rapping? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the time to be out on the front lines. This is the time to be out, protesting. This is the time to be out donating. This is the time to be out just spreading awareness to a cause. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to jump in nobody's studio right this second and start getting bars off and then be like, hey guys, listen to my new song. The link is in my, like, I'm not trying to do all that right now. You know what I'm saying? And then think about it too, like this. When this is all, it's never gonna be all said and done. But when this particular wave, is over, right? And we're in the middle of just a gray area until the next one. We trying to people want to get back to a time of happiness and of joy and laughter and all of that stuff. No one kind of wants to go back and dwell on that moment. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm in a point where it's let's say we get justice, let's say we get, reformation, all of that stuff. Do I really want to go back and talk about how, all that stuff did me wrong, or do I want to go and just try to have a good time with my people? So it's just a matter of just finding the time when to do everything in the midst of all the craziness.
I somewhat disagree with some of the things that you said. One of those things is now is not the time to go in the studio and make that song. I think now is the perfect time. You give the world, you give all the protesters, everybody, you give them a soundtrack to protest too, and like Max said, music resonates. And a lot of the way that memory works, you'll remember a time, you'll associate things with that memory. So hypothetically speaking, I say now is the right time for Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole and Wale to all get together on that one track and just make that Fight the Power type record, make that pro-black record that resonates, that'll it'll do numbers in a sense of it'll get out to everybody and people accept it, and then it might be able it'll be a contribution to help spark the change. It's another voice, and it's a voice that's above our voice, above our voice on social media, and it that type of thing also puts the big record labels on notice too, but I do also think that the labels, for example, is a reason why so many people don't make those kind of songs or full albums. And then there's only a certain number of people that can make those full album, a full pro-black album without getting too much backfire. Like the three I mentioned, Kendrick, J. Cole, Wale, those are three that could make that full pro-black album and not really have to, take too much slack for it. Aside from Wale, but
I'm dead. But bro, I mean, yeah.
Nah, I feel like both of you guys have a point, but at the same time, like AD was saying, you also have to take into consideration that, like, of course, you know, the labels, those are the people, the head honchos, whatever. Those are the people who are really gonna be like, no, you can't put this out. But then at the same time, I feel like what KB is saying is also true, and especially we live in a time where it's like the cancel culture is crazy. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I would rather somebody stay silent than sound ignorant. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would rather a celebrity do what you got to do in private, like protest in private, do what you need to do in private, but don't sound ignorant on somebody's talk show, talk when they ask you to interview you and you sound dumb. You know what I'm saying? Because then it's just like, well, this is how you really feel because in this time of need, this is what you said. So I feel like as for celebrities who are staying quiet, yeah, they shouldn't stay quiet because they have a bigger platform. But at the same time, I would rather you stay quiet, educate yourself, and then speak when you're educated than sound stupid later.
Yeah, and like also too, look at it like this, right? Because as an artist, you of course you're gonna get a message across, you trying to show off your talent, this, that, and the other, right? If it don't go across as you plan, you're gonna be upset that the community and everybody didn't mess with you. You know what I'm saying? Like Eddie said it, he's like only a few people can get out and do that thing. You know what I'm saying? I've heard rappers big and small, well really just big, forget small, but big be like, you know what I'm saying? It looks selfish in a sense. Because think about it, like all eyes should be on what matters, you know what I'm saying, right? Of course, if J. Cole and Kendrick make a song, people gonna eat it up. It's J. Cole and Kendrick. They're one of the people that could fall on a record and it's gonna be great. Like, but everybody can't do that. It's gonna look crazy to the point where it's like, yo, bro, like really, you couldn't just wait a second. People really have been saying that, like, yo, this time, it would be selfish for me to just come out on a record before I come out and speak and actually act and do something. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's better. It's
like,
better.
It's dumb.
It's better
like,
when you bring a joint back to life.
This shit's going on.
Yeah. No,
My last question to you guys is: you guys make great points about the, changing the music and making more Black Power music. You know what I'm saying? Just like what Public Enemy was doing back in the 80s and 90s. We're seeing a step forward here with the protests. More people are out there protesting for a change. What do you guys believe are some things that we could put forward and keep moving forward? What are some things that we could put forward as like a change? What are some things we can implement in our system?
I'll say quick, something we implement in our system. And this is just something that I've noticed. We're big on going to the streets, right? You know what I mean? We big on going to the streets and going crazy, being peaceful, being, all from ranges of emotions from 1 to 100, you know what I'm saying? The thing that we got to start doing, whether it be us as, everyday regular people or the people up in them offices, the superstars, whatever the case may be, we got to start going to these offices. Because, being in the streets is cool, but you got to remember, these people who's upstairs, they looking at us from upstairs. We got to find a way to make our way up there and really make our voices be heard, and really make them hear, really make them feel our pain and our power. Because it could be a million of us out on the street. If we don't got somebody up there to talk to these people, it's not going to make real much of a difference, you know what I'm saying? Look at Dr. King and all them in the civil rights movement. Yeah, there was millions of protesters, but the people who were protesting were also able to talk to, like MLK could talk to Lyndon B. Johnson. X could talk to all of these different people that was in power at this time. And that's what made it, it's not, that's just what showed to have true outcome and true results. If we don't have nobody up there to talk to these people in legislation and whatnot, we just gonna continue to be on the street forever in terms of, trying to get our point across. We can't keep doing this forever. We got to see some type of change, and it starts from here, but we got to make our way to the top.
Anyone else want to chime in on that?
Yeah, I agree. We do kind of have to take that next step into, going into the offices and all, and like, making sure that our point is being like put across and all, but that type of thing, that's what we need, like the higher ups of our community for, like we as the people can't just like, storm into the offices ourselves and like have those people take us serious, but there's people of like a higher kind of status in our community that we need to like go in there and like speak for us. And you know, like one of the moves that I saw was when Jay-Z, he called the I don't know if it was the mayor or whatever it was of Minnesota.
Yeah, the
And,
governor of Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah, like he called he called them, and like, you know, he said what he had to say. He had to get off his chest, and like, you know, that's like the biggest example to me of like somebody of higher status, like, you know, going to speak for us. But I mean, as long as we, like, as the people, like, you know, in the slums, in the trenches, you know, as long as we like keep doing what we have to do, which is like, you know, marching, getting our point across, you know, I feel like, you know, we'll keep going in the right direction, and then eventually, you know, things will start to change.
Any final words here on the podcast tonight?
No, I just think everybody at this time just needs to stick together. We all need to keep in mind what the end goal here is at the end of the day. I think that everybody, all of our brothers and sisters, no matter what color you are, we just need to be safe. We need to stay united, and we just need to make sure that we fight for what's right. Don't be out here fighting for stupid stuff. Don't just be a part of the cause just because you're a part of the cause and not really understand what we're fighting for. Make sure that you're out here for a reason, and make sure that your end goal is to make a better life for yourself, your nieces, your nephews, your brothers, your sisters, your future kids, and that's just what it is. And make sure you go out and vote and get registered to vote.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone else?
I mean, I think they got it all. They got everything.
They set it up.
I want to thank all of you for joining me on my show here, a special edition of my show. I think it was necessary to have this. You know, people need to speak out, and especially as a white male. I think white males, because they're just the worst of society, as far as I'm concerned. They definitely have a history of just doing horrible things to people in this country. And I think it's important that we take the initiative to give people of color the opportunity to speak out on our platforms, especially because it's important. You know, it's time that there's a change in this country for the better, because there's no reason for everyone to be fighting all the time. There's no need for racism. Like, this has been going on since the beginning of time. And I think now that video has resonated and just been seen all around, I think it's finally getting to people, and you're finally going to see a change eventually. But those officers, all 4 of them, need to be convicted.
Sure.
I want everyone to tell everyone where they can follow you on Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff.
Local Warbucks. You know what the dealio is, man. Oh, wow. My brain farted. What am I doing? My Instagram. At Local Warbucks. My Twitter. At Local Warbucks. Wow, you're going to have to do the Spark the Convo stuff.
Man, sure.
We'll get to him when it's time.
Yeah, man. AD here, AD speaking, voice of the trenches, you feel me? You could catch me on Instagram at levelup.ad, 3 underscores after that.
You know what it is. It's Monty. You can find me on Instagram at african.jigga, and you can find me on Twitter at africanjigga. Oh, also find the Spark Boys page, the Spark the Convo page at Spark the Convo Pod. All one word.
Where can they listen?
Oh, one word. Wait, say it again.
Where can they listen to your episodes?
Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, what is it? Anchor. Literally anywhere you can find a podcast. Google.
Yep.
I don't know. Google does the thing.
Google Podcast.
Yeah, I think that's where you can get podcasts. I don't know any other platform.
You can also follow. You can also listen on Anchor.
Wherever you
I said that already.
Wherever you get your podcast, make sure you look for Spark the Convo and this. You feel me? You know how to search for what you want. You type us in the search bar, we'll come up.
Oh yeah, sure. G Jetson here. IG is G Jetson. The O is a 0. And yeah.
go ahead and follow me on Instagram and Twitter at cc2_Rose, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel, CC Rose, dropping them bangers back to back.
And there you have it.
Sir.
There you have it. Everyone stay safe out there. And, you know, if you're going to...
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, no
Peace and
problem.
blessings.
Yeah, no
Peace
problem.
and love.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, I had a pleasure having you guys on here. You guys are always welcome back.
Appreciate you, Max.
Appreciate you.
For sure.
Stay safe.
You too.
All right, you too, my man.
You too.